Many of us at this point are very familiar with this repeating pattern. There's a load of games out there over the years that we just want sequels to, or just more versions of games that are very similar to, and the AAA studios just don't release them, and well, we're kind of left waiting. But then the answer comes in the form of an indie studio who releases something very nice indeed. Such is the case for this game right here. It's called Zerospace. Do check out that link in the video description. And my thanks to Starlight Studios for sponsoring this video. Now this is all a part of Steam Next Fest. That means there's some free demos available, and this one is one of the ones that's certainly worth a look at, especially if you're a fan of, well, the game that it's kind of based on. It's heavily influenced, as you may have noticed already, by StarCraft. There's also a few elements of Mass Effect thrown into the mix as well. So it's a genre that's had no shortages of revivals, comebacks, spiritual successors and all that type of thing, and most of them, if we're being absolutely honest here, arrive feeling pretty thin or quite unfinished, or in some other way feel slightly off. So I went into Zerospace with all of that very much in mind. Fortunately, with this being a part of Steam Next Fest, it means no one has to exchange any money right now. At most you can just wishlist it, and more to the point, you can go and try out that demo, which allows you to try out the first 3 missions of the campaign. So first things first, Zerospace very much has the StarCraft DNA. And I mean that structurally here is very much present. It's not just a vague vibe. You've got asymmetric factions here, which actually includes 3 factions, 5 mercenaries and 11 heroes. All of these can be used in the game's versus mode. We've also got the whole base and army rhythm. You've got the economy, at least as far as it goes in this sort of thing. And then there's the whole competitive bones that are laid here as well. There's, in addition to the campaign, a variety of different ways to play the game as well, which we'll talk about a little bit further into the video. One of these worth touching on now, though, is the Galactic War. This is actually a massive live conflict that the players get to shape the outcome of, and you'll see this as a massive map which you can interact with and deploy to various different planets. Now all of this, of course, is not an accident. The team comes largely out of the StarCraft community itself. It is an RTS that's made by people who actually live and breathe RTS. The second thing is that this really does look the part, and it really does have that whole kind of futuristic space aesthetic. So I do want to talk a little bit about the other side of the game here, which does have some Mass Effect vibes. The developers point that out, I think, in a variety of different locations. I didn't get that impression quite so strongly myself, but nonetheless, it is very much here. It'd be hard to deny that. So as you can see on the screen, we have a lot of nice cutscenes here, quite a bit of story going on, and in addition to that, during the dialogue, you have multi-choice options, which do affect how some things do play out, especially as you get towards the end of the 3rd mission. And ultimately, a lot of this is possible because the game centers on a hero. It's very much a hero-centric game. You have your hero characters and the army surrounding them. You take on the role of Asta, who very early in the game gets a significant promotion. And it also becomes clear very early on in the game that there's something very strange going on in the background, not just with the other factions, but with perhaps mysteriously and perhaps conspiratorially your own faction itself. Although that is my read on the subtext. The story at this point is very subtle. There's definitely more going on here than meets the eye. And that's something I do like because it feels like there's going to be a nice story behind this. And that's something I think you'll find is apparent in the footage in the background here. These particular parts are from the various different cutscenes. And they do a great job of conveying the story. Some really nice quality going on here, considering this isn't a massive studio. Talking of which, actually, another thing they're doing, and which is nice considering our small studio, is they're giving away 3 custom Battle Station PCs. These are for players who join the Galactic War, and the demo during Steam Next Fest. And basically, the more you play, the more entries you get through the Next Fest itself. Also, they have an open ladder test with a $5,000 prize pool. Between missions end, you'll find yourself on board your command ship. Here, you can do a variety of activities, including upgrading your units, but you can also talk to other members of your crew and other members of your team. And this is where some of the other parts of the story will unfold. And like I say, there's some neat dialogue going on here, because not only do you get to listen to the dialogue, but you can also interact with it as well. As you can see, we've got a variety of different options for the conversation. How far this goes though is hard to tell at the moment, because obviously this is a demo, and to get a real feel for the full conversation we're going to need to see a much larger chunk of the game. But that said, it's pretty clear what the developers are intending with this. You can also see here how from the various different computer consoles we can upgrade some of our units and some of our buildings. And yes, buildings are very important as well, because during the missions, once you start getting towards the end of the second mission and all out, when you get to the third mission, you can have full base building going on, very much like you'd expect from this style of RTS game. So right here, the footage on the screen is towards the midpoint, or rather the end, toward the midpoint I'd say, of the second mission, where you're first introduced to base building. Here I put down a few production buildings which allow you to increase the supply of the number of units you can have, and I'll also put down in a minute, once I've figured out where I'm going here with all of this, that you can have down at the barracks as well. Now, I'm placing them on what looks like pre-marked locations, but I want to make it perfectly clear you can place these buildings anywhere you like, or just go in here in the marked locations to try and make things look neat and organised. So this is the whole introduction to the base building thing, and as you can see, I've managed to create some new unit types as well, and these turn out to be very handy as we make our way across the map. Got a larger team here, got to take down and destroy this base that's been infiltrated, and of course you also have some features where you can call in strikes. This allows us to call in a strike and destroy some enemy units quite efficiently. We can also have other commands at the top there later on that will bring in reinforcements. You'll have soldiers that get hot dropped into the conflict zone. I found the demo then to be very nicely paced. You initially start off with just a few units under your command, as you saw right at the start of the video, and throughout the mission as you progress, you start picking up other units as you start encountering them. And that can be big mech-style units, like we've got that walker there, otherwise known as a strider, as well as literally dozens of units that will come along with you. In addition to the regular commands such as shooting and manoeuvring around, you also have some other commands which have a time limit on them. This is things such as the jump pack use you saw me use just now, and your heroes also have their own special unique commands which are kind of very powerful. They do a lot of damage. Again, those are time activated, so you can only use them every so often, but they do a lot of damage, and they go a long way to making you feel like your character is actually unique. Now, Mission 3 is where everything really starts coming together, but before I show you that, I want to show you a few other things that are available in the game. We got the Galactic War going on here. This is a star map. You can zoom into any of the nodes there. We've also got Versus AI, where you can play games against the AI. You can choose your own faction. We've got Versus 2v2, 1v1. You can also set up custom games as well. Heading back to the Galactic War, we can select a map to drop in on, and we will load in to a session. So some sessions will be a co-op if you choose that. I do believe I'm playing co-op with the AI here. And you can see I'm also playing the aliens. This is the Grell, but I'm also alongside the humans. Down the bottom right hand side of the screen you can see the map, and there's a lot of fog of war there. Destinations are getting marked in there on that map over time, and we can slowly start expanding our base. This was another mission I tried, and this one had a little bit more going on up front because we had the resource nodes deposited right in the location where we were building, right inside our base parameter actually. And up on the top left you can see the hero that we want to select for this particular session. A lot of other things going on here, including the fact that the production platforms that you saw me depositing earlier, putting down on the earlier mission, we can actually upgrade these. We can upgrade them to either turrets or center units, and you'll see me making a much better use of turrets slightly further into the video. And yeah, there's one of our harvesters picking up some of the resources. One of the more important ones, this is called the Flux. All the resources are down there on the bottom right hand corner in the map. Okay, so this is the beginning of the third and final mission that's available in the demo. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I'd like you to play it for yourself. Do check out that link and get the demo because yeah, I do feel it's worth a try. This mission in particular starts getting really interesting. So what we've got to do is evacuate some refugees or some colonists. We've got to get them off the planet because their base, their home, has come under assault by the Grell. Now to start with here, I realised very early on that this was the front of the base. We're coming under assault there very quickly. So this is where, as I said earlier, I made good use of the turrets. I'm going to upgrade all the platforms there and make them as turrets so they'll, well, kind of protect the entranceway. But We also knew that we had some resource harvester here, but as of that moment it wasn't quite unlocked. We'll have to wait just a few moments for the story to catch up, and that will soon allow us to do that. I'm going to send some units down there to defend the base, and in a moment we're going to want to generate and create some more units as well. We can do that from these locations. Actually, you can see here that the flux is now available to harvest. We've got a few locations toward the back of our base. That means our harvesters will actually go out and extract the flux from those specific locations. You can see a harvester right in action there on the top left-hand corner of the screen near that building. Already then you can see that things are starting to get very hectic indeed. We're not too far into the mission. We've rescued 29 out of 93 colonists, and I'm needing to constantly increase the defenses around this space because those enemy units are just going to keep on coming, and some of them are getting pretty deep into the base already. As for how this mission ends, that's one you're going to have to find out for yourself. Do check out that link in the video description where you can check out that free demo. My thanks again to the developers for sponsoring this video. Do take care, and I'll catch you next time.